All right, so in this podcast, bro,
What's popping?
it's been messing with this thing since we started.
Let's get it going. Oh, we coming at you with
All
the
right,
all
every time
facts.
we start, yeah, every time we start, this is gonna have to happen.
This is definitely gonna have to happen.
Every
Listen.
time.
All right. Anyways.
I like the mix board though.
Yeah, I know, right?
Be a pro with this.
This is gonna be a problem for sure. Me keep my hands off this. This is.
Anyways, all right. So what's all facts? Like I said before, my name is Sage Delsol. This is my best friend in the whole wide world, Matthew Edland. And we just want to take time to just basically what we already do.
Speak facts.
Like daily. I mean, we have conversations probably every single day of the week. And we bring each other our life issues, things we learned, things we thought we learned and we were wrong. You know, somebody we met that we thought was, you know, like, oh, this dude's badass because this, or this chick that we met that does this, and she created this, whatever.
Yeah.
And we have all these conversations, and we were talking the other day, and we're like, dude, let's just put it on a podcast and just
put it on.
Because I think a lot of people, we're not special by any way, you know.
Well, I mean, anyways,
we're not special in any way, but I think a lot of people do what we're doing right now. I think a lot of people do with that person in their life, and they're just like, yo, this is like, I have a few people that I talk to about stuff, but you would do it more than anybody. So it's like, yo, why don't we just broadcast it?
Yeah.
And people that I think are having the same or similar conversations, you know, they'd probably be able to vibe with it. And, you know, some of those people I think we'll have on the show, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, it's really weird to say. We're gonna have them on the show.
Yeah, and
like we're some cool motherfuckers. Like we're not cool. By the way, this is gonna be a very like off the cuff,
non-traditional,
no rules. Like we're not here to please anybody. Like I just want to talk. I want to say what's on my mind.
Speak some facts.
That's all we want to do.
That's all we're doing right now.
This damn board, bro.
Yeah, but in all reality, that's really what we're here to do. I mean, the goal of the podcast is just to kind of hopefully bring you information or bring you different thought processes, different mentalities that maybe you've always kind of had but never really been able to explore because you didn't have that person in your life, just like Sage is for me, where we get to have these kind of in-depth conversations just at the most random parts of the day, right? And so
exactly.
You know, the podcast is really just a way for us to put it down on tape and always have that to be able to go back on and, you know, generations to come hopefully be able to share it with us. So
absolutely.
We'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, I want to start this off, though, because this is being our first episode, right? None of these people watching know us, except maybe the people that are our friends and family that we made them watch it. Yeah. They know us.
Shout out to Mom.
But what I want to do is maybe just do a little back and forth. Like, I want to ask you some questions. You can ask me some questions, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But to start out, kind of what we've mentioned is, you know, I think a big process as to how anybody's developed mindset is at any point of their life, but probably specifically in their 20s, right? I think a lot of people make a lot of bigger decisions when you get into your 20s. I know I've made several, you've made several, good, bad, you know, one in the same, in the middle, whatever. But
what on the bad side. But
there you go. But what I want to talk about first with you is, where do you think your mindset or your life compass started? Like what gave that, what impressed upon your brain, right? Like early on to go, okay, this is the way Matt thinks, or this is just the way that he started to think. Like, what was that for you? Where did that start necessarily for you?
Yeah. So for me, it was really the way I was raised. My father and pretty much my entire family was very entrepreneurial. So I grew up in that environment where at most of the time when kids were 12, they were on the playgrounds or hanging out at their friend's house or playing video games, and I'm in multi-million-dollar meetings. And I remember at the time it was...
At what age? How old?
Like 12.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was like, most kids are like, you know, doing the everyday kid thing. And it's not like I didn't do that. But at the same time, it was
this is a gamer, by the way. This kid games more than...
That is a damn lie. What are you talking about? I play for like 20 minutes, then I put it down.
He just beats the whole game in like a day. He'll a game will come out, and he's like, don't talk to me for 24 hours.
Yeah. And then I got
I'm like, why? He's like, I gotta, and he beats like, Uncharted, you like that game, right?
Yeah.
He'll just go demolish the whole game, and like, before I even had a chance to put it in my buy it now cart. And I'm like, yeah, I bought it. And he's like, oh, cool, I'm on the second disc of the level 99. I don't know. Sorry for interrupting, but
but that's
you still did kid stuff. You did kid shit.
Yeah, exactly. I still did kid shit, but I just think that the mentality and where I really got that was just from my surroundings, right? Like growing up with my dad and owning several businesses, that's just really where I got a lot of the mentality. And I didn't know it at an early age, but I started to notice it now going into my older years, where it's like there's just different ways that I think about certain situations that come up, and people around me will always, in a sense, not like to pat my own back, but will compliment me on the way that I think or like the way that I solve this problem. And to me, it was like, I didn't know there was another way. Like that's just the way it came to me. That was just natural, right? Yeah. So I think that that's a big deal about it.
That's a big blessing though, because so many people don't grow up like that at all. I mean, at all. I know several people, including myself, I didn't grow up with that, like in my home scenario, right? Yeah. Obviously, like we're both 28 years old. Excuse me. So we've been best friends since we were about 8. Yeah. So Matt's mentioning these meetings he's been in, when he's like 12, and a good amount of those times I was like sitting right next to him in these meetings or on the way or whatever. So just things like that. So that was really cool to be around those types of people. And so I believe that some of it can be by like default. Like for you were just born into somebody's family that had that going already. They already had to push it. So then you got the other side where they weren't, like myself, and then you got to put yourself in those situations. So as a kid, it was cool. I got lucky with that because I wasn't trying to find people that were successful. I just liked hanging out with you.
Yeah, but at the same time too, I think that there's a good and a bad to both sides, right? So like you were saying, you weren't raised in that exact home, right? It was a different mentality, but at the same time, a lot of the things, like I can remember growing up, and like for instance, like if both our parents gave us $100, right? Mine would be gone, and by the time that they handed the $100 bill to my hand, I'm already with my other hand out going, I need more money, right? Yeah. Just because I was just stupid, right? But for you, because your parents were so smart in instilling that, money doesn't grow on trees, you grew up with a different mentality in the sense of, I got to be smart with this because there may not be another $100 coming right behind this.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like, I can remember growing up and, it was, I don't even know, 15 years ago or something like that. You talked about, you had a certain amount of money in your savings. You're like, man, I have this. It was like a couple $1,000s in your savings. I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I don't have $10 in my pocket, right? But at the time, it was like daddy's money. So I could just run back to dad and be like, hey, I need more money. And he'd be like, okay, here you go. Yeah. And that was something that at a young age we thought was so cool, right? Like, I ran out of money. I'll go get more.
Yeah, it was cool.
For a minute. Yeah. And then now you look back on it and I'm like, wow, that kind of screwed me in a sense. But,
you figured it out.
I figured it out. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's the difference of how we raised. We kind of came to a same point, but at the same time, there's benefits and downfalls to both sides.
Sure. Yeah, I would say so. So, okay, moving on. Just briefly touch on, we kind of talked about who you are, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, what do you do? Like, you have your life. So, what is your job? Yeah. Do you have a job? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so for me, I'm in what's called course sales. So, it's like a form of tech sales. Basically, I sell an academy that teaches people how to code, and we do it better than anybody else around. So if anybody's ever curious on what even HTML means, hit my DMs and we'll get you popping. But
sick.
Yeah, so that's basically what I am. I'm in tech sales.
Okay.
For sure.
And you like it?
Oh, man, I absolutely love it. I couldn't picture myself.
He does. This guy talks to me about it like every single day.
All the time, yeah. Constantly. I think my bosses are probably even tired of me telling them how much I love my job. And I think it's just because I've been like a career job hopper, right? Like if that was a career, that's a serial job hopper. That's a whole other topic in and of itself. We'll do a deep dive into that.
Not even today, because it'll take up all the time.
Yeah, that's a couple-hour podcast. But
this guy knows a little bit about a whole fucking lot.
Yeah, just done everything, right? So, so coming from being like a serial job hopper into now being in my personal opinion, one of the best positions career-wise without actually owning your own business. So for me, this is kind of like the cusp where I hit that point where it's like, this is something that I can enjoy so much, but also use the earning income potential out of this to then start more businesses and more side things and
facts, for sure.
Airbnbs and all that kind of good stuff. Mm-hmm. But without taking the limelight off myself, man, let's holler at you for a second.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
Tell me a little bit about, like you just kind of asked me on the mentality or whatever that was brought up in my home life. Tell me a little bit about your upbringings and how you think it kind of helped you get to the point you are today.
Yeah, sure. So for me, it was me and my 2 younger sisters I grew up with. Excuse me.
Cough again, I'm gonna kick you out.
I know, dude. This thing in my throat. I hate that when we're doing these things. And my family was just hard. It was a hardworking family. You know, we were like the middle class, normal, you know, house in the suburbs type deal. And like you said earlier, you know, with the $100, you know, scenario, like that was a very normal thing. Like if I did get an allowance, I had chores I had to do to get that allowance, you know. And then my parents were pretty strict on, specifically my mom. My mom was very, very strict on, you know, what we did with our money and how we handled it. So I didn't really see, kind of like what you were saying, where you didn't know the mentality you were growing up with was something that you are very blessed to have had. You didn't realize, you just thought that was like the way to do it. That was just the way that we think, right? Yeah. So the way that, you know, in that scenario, that was just the way that I handled money. That was just how it was. Now growing up, and you have choices, and you start making, you know, even a little bit more. It's like, oh, crap,
them
like,
Gucci shoes.
Am I going to stick to what I've learned, right? But that was a really good foundation to start off on, right? So I mean, I understood, as a kid at least, I understood as much as you can of the value of a dollar, right? Yeah. Even though we didn't have many dollars, you know, it was very normal. Like I played sports. My parents sort of bought me my first car. I remember my first.
Oh my God. I'm gonna edit a picture in this.
Tell everybody what you called my first car that I actually still kind of somewhat shared with my dad every once in a while. But
yeah, we're talking about the purple tampon, right?
Purple tampon.
Yeah, that thing was like the most maroon
purple. That was
purple,
the ugliest color. Actually, it wasn't even as ugly as the next car.
Oh yeah, no, but the next one had your name in it though. That was a sage green Honda Civic.
Like that car, like think about a hybrid and like the hybrid car colors before
like
hybrids
Prius natural
like
color.
When Prius came out, that was like their color, like that kind of weird green, sage green, I guess. Like it was a weird, anyways. So like I had those cars. And meantime, by the way, we didn't talk about Matt in this situation, but meantime, I'm driving around this purple tampon. He's got like a 2004 Pontiac GTO. Yeah, you know, that was like your first car. That was literally your first car.
Red, dude.
I mean, the coolest car. Red seats, red exterior.
Never been in more trouble in my entire life than in that car.
It was nuts. But yeah, growing up that way was at the time, it could be annoying. You know, you're like, oh man, I want to go do this, or mom and dad can have money for that, whatever. But now I think back, and the value that it provides my life now, you just can't trade that out for anything else. I mean, it was a lot of value, and I still get it today. Like both my parents, obviously, they're still alive. You know, I still get it from my mom all the time. She gives me advice, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's just kind of like the way the upbringing was. But then I also, you know, surrounded myself with other people and saw other things, and I had aspirations to be able to do and afford those things without even really knowing. You know, I wasn't like 16 coming up with a business plan. I really wasn't that person, but all I knew is that I wanted that, and I didn't want to, you know, ever lose the ability to have it. Yeah. I wanted to figure out how can I do it. So, I mean, I jumped around and did a bunch of different stuff. So, like, I know I asked about your job, so I'm just going to interview myself right now. You know, what do I do for work, right?
Get into it.
What was the past with that? So, as Matt said, you know, he jumped around and did a bunch of different careers, and he really did. One day we'll get into that because I think it's funny.
You did the opposite.
So, a little bit, I guess. I mean, I jumped into, like, retail banking, you know, so I didn't want to do the college thing. I think I did, like, a semester of college at a community college. Did not enjoy that.
I completely forgot about that until you just mentioned that.
I did one semester.
The
College.
College.
Yeah. So I did one semester there. Did not like it at all. Didn't enjoy it. So I stopped.
Surprising.
And then jumped into retail banking. There was a move involved there, but we'll talk about that. It's probably some other day. Jumped in the retail banking side. You know, kind of climbed that little, I guess, mini corporate ladder. I don't know. Whatever you call it when you're like 18, 19, working at a bank and getting promotions. So did that for a little bit. That was cool. Thought it was, you know, you're 18, you work at a bank, you think it's all, everyone used to ask me like, dude, what kind of degree do you have to work here? I was like, you just have to apply.
Yeah, but you know what's really crazy about that? I remember the conversations too, because you would call me like in the middle of the day and you'd be like, dude, this guy just came in. He deposited like $10,000.
Dude, I've never seen money like that before.
He had like $100,000 in his account, right? Yeah. And so it's like, but hearing that and then seeing that like firsthand and seeing that kind of cash, like cool. At the time, that was $100 million.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was the richest guy you'd ever seen in your life, right?
Yeah, just seeing the numbers, because I saw my bank numbers, it was nowhere close, you know.
Yeah, I got like $100, and this guy's got $10,000.
Yeah, he had a few more zeros. But anyways, fast forwarding, trying to get up to where I do now. So went into roofing construction after I got out of the banking world.
I had to do that.
That's good, dude. I told you, you're going to be a master of this.
No one would ever think that you would be in roofing. So why don't you tell them a little bit about how you got into roofing? Because it starts with me.
It does.
Yeah.
It all starts and ends with you.
That's right. I'm the end all be all.
Yeah, so I was looking for another business, like work opportunity. And at the same time, just so happened you were too. I don't remember why, but you were. And
Job hopper.
That's job hopper, right? So you found the company that we applied to. We both applied. Mm-hmm. They called me first, which pissed you off. And then,
oh my God, that drove me nuts.
Or wait, did they call you first and then they hired me first?
Yeah, yeah. So they called me.
Yeah.
And there was like a 3-step interview process.
Yeah, they were because
you had to record the video.
Yeah.
And then send it to them based off of. They would basically send you a video, and you'd have to send them a 30-second response.
That was fun.
And you did that, and then, they ended up calling you first, bringing you in, or they brought us in for an interview, like an in-person interview, both of us back to back.
Right.
And I remember when they called you first to give you the job, I was like, oh, dude, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
because the night before, I went out, partied way too hard, and then came to the interview, and I remember I was sitting down with Randy. Shout out to Randy if you ever watch this. I was sitting down.
Oh, what do we call Randy? Handy Randy.
Handy Randy.
Handy Randy.
I was sitting down with Randy at like that coffee shop right by the office.
Yeah.
Man, I was so, and this is so funny to say, but I was so hungover. And I remember I yawned probably 30 times during
That's why they called me first.
That's probably exactly why they called first. After that meeting, I was like, oh, I screwed it up. That was it.
Yeah.
Fuck that up. Like, there that went. But they ended up calling me.
They ended up hiring both of us. Which was cool. We always wanted to work together, so we got to hang out and do that job for a while together. It was exciting. It was fun. But then fast forward, just under a couple years ago, I was introduced to a brand new industry again, the insurance industry, and he was too. And technically, you were first. You did not fail. You just didn't want to do it. So we both together worked in that industry for a little while. Matt went ahead and decided he wanted to jump into the tech stuff, and so I kept going with that. So I'm in the life insurance, Medicare insurance industry, and I do a lot with that.
Let me pause that for a second. Let's not underplay this. This dude is not just working at fucking Texas Farmer Bureau selling you home and
no offense to Texas Farmer Bureau.
No offense. Shout out. I think I have my insurance with y'all.
I think they are actually your.
I think they are my carrier. Yeah, so don't drop me. No, but elaborate a little bit on that, because most people will probably hear that and think, okay, he's life insurance sales, and okay, he does tech sales. Great. Anyways, but I want to elaborate on the fact that, tell them a little bit. I mean, within your first 6 months, you did well over 6 figures in life insurance. That is not something
that's nuts, dude. It's the industry. It's stupid. I mean, if you just play it right, you can make a ton of money, and it's really cool. So yeah, I jumped in and was lucky enough to follow the footsteps of other people that were doing the same thing. So I just said, give me, I'm not the creative guy, but if I see something that works, I'll just do it to the T.
Yeah.
Like hey, if you make this much money, you can tell me exactly how to do it, and you can feasibly show me how to do it, and I can actually do it, then I'm gonna do it. So I did. It was really cool. So that just kind of catapulted me into that career space. And so, fast forward to now, running an agency with one of close people in my life, which is really cool. I think we'll have him on here one day for sure.
Absolutely. Gonna drop some serious knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. The guy's been in business for himself for like 20 years, I think, 21 years, something. Anyways, so I get to work with him. It's really exciting. We run the agency together alongside a few other people as well, and we have agents all over the United States. And I write insurance. I do it from home. I go meet people sometimes. It's fun. So I actually enjoy it. But yeah, the money in the industry is nuts, bro. Like it really is stupid. But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I get to be able to take time out of my day and do this with you. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a guy I had to call and be like, hey, I want to be off for today to go record. I don't know. I get to run my own.
Do you mind if I extend my lunch an hour?
I don't have to clock in or clock out anywhere, which is a blessing. It's exciting. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a lot of work, and it's hard. It's like, I won't lie, I've cried in the corner a couple times. You get kind of.
I don't think anybody that's in insurance has not cried a couple times.
Or in general in business for yourself. Like,
true.
We're gonna have some people on here that a lot of them probably have either been in business for themselves or a mixture of that plus employing a bunch of other people. And I know that road is no small feat. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we'll definitely be talking more about
I'm
that.
definitely gonna cry on this podcast for sure.
I really hope
I'll be
don't.
the first crier
Don't
for
do
sure.
that. Don't. Yeah, where are you gonna? Yeah, you like that one.
I do.
should
That's
mix
my
it up.
favorite one.
Okay. Go ahead.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, the really to kind of sum it all up, because there is a topic that I wanted to touch on real quick, but to kind of sum it all up, man, this is really what we're going to be doing. It's just this right now, conversations. We're going to have awesome guest speakers on. We're going to be really, in a sense, as you can see, all facts. We're going to be dropping some serious facts. Just getting everybody's mindsets on business, their upbringing, and hopefully, our listeners will.
I just want to get to know some people, bro.
Yeah, for real.
I want to I
can't
said,
wait to walk down the street and be like, you should be on my podcast.
Yeah, I want to have just the most random, cool, influential, self-influential. And I say that they're not, popular celebrities, just normal, everyday people. We live in Dallas, North Dallas, right? So DFW is the hub.
Every 10 feet, there's a millionaire.
I mean, it's the hub, bro.
Yeah.
If I tell people all the time, if you're not from here and you move here and you're broke and you stay broke,
you're successful.
It's your fault if you're broke in Dallas. Straight up.
All Facts podcast.
You can't turn a corner without seeing a business opportunity. It's nuts.
It's impossible.
Yeah. But that's what I'm excited for. So anyway, you said you had a topic you want to talk about. What was that?
Yeah, no. So you had brought this up just before we got here about So you had just watched the movie Top Gun, right? Which
sick fucking movie.
You have not watched Top Gun, I highly recommend it.
Such a good movie. I haven't met a single person that said it wasn't badass. It's a cool movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had 100% positive reviews. The only negative
Tomatoes. I feel like Rotten. You know the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god!
So you know how it'll be a really really cool movie, but it'll say 64%.
Yeah, 64% of people.
Who's giving them the rating?
They're 90 years old, and their only complaint was they couldn't hear it in the movie theater.
I want to find out who runs Rotten Tomatoes because they're incorrect. We should
We need to have you on the podcast.
We should look that.
We need to holler at you.
It was a sick movie. So I was watching this movie with my wife literally last night, and what I thought was nuts is that they've got 12 people, right? Best the best in the Navy. That all these aviator. I can't even remember the correct term. I'm not a military savvy person. Aviator somethings, right? 12 of them, top 1%.
Pilots, yeah.
Is it aviator pilot?
I don't know. I don't think you have to put the aviator in front of it. I think it's just.
I just remember them specifically saying that. That's why I have this word in my brain.
Top Gun.
Doesn't matter. Anyways, so I'm watching this movie and I'm watching these 12 people compete to become one of the 6 that are going to go on this mission, right? Some crazy, very high percentage chance that you're going to die mission, but it's a very, we've got to get this done, right? Obviously. And these guys are, when you think about best of the best, I go back to sports, right? So in sports, I played basketball throughout high school. I was not best of the best whatsoever. That's why I do what I do now. I'm not in the NBA. Yeah. But I was around a lot of people that were really, really good. And at certain times, I was better than one other guy, and you want to be the best, natural competition, right? So when you got to think about, the top 1% in the Navy, they're pilots. There's some really good, they're really freaking good at
that's
their
not
job.
something you don't go to the signing office and go, I'd rather be a pilot.
Yeah, there's a lot goes into it. So all those, you got to understand the type of person that person already is, right? So they're top of the top, best of the best, blah, blah, blah. Now they are fighting and competing like crazy to go on this mission for the purpose of achieving the fact that they get picked and then to serve their country when they damn well know there's a crazy high percent chance they're going to die.
Yeah.
Crazy high percent chance. And when I was watching that, I'm thinking, and I obviously just randomly think back to how I've kind of cultivated my life at this point, business minded, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, why don't more people think like that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
When you I gave this scenario in the car on the way up here. You got Bob and Mary, maybe they're a married couple and they both have their jobs, but for forever, Mary's wanted to, start a cupcake bakery company, right? But they never do it because Mary's scared, or Bob and Mary are scared because, what if it fails, or what if we go broke, or what if we can't, what if no one buys our cupcakes, that kind of deal. And the fear sets in, and then they just never do it, but it's just there, right? So these guys in Top Gun, they don't give a shit at all.
Yeah.
They don't have any fear. They might have fear, but they compartmentalize it. And however the way they do it is crazy to me. It's so impressive. because they just want to fight tooth and nail till they can get to that achievement of being picked to go on this mission.
And then they're potentially die.
Potentially die.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the outcome.
Do you think people die if they fail at a cupcake company?
Yeah.
No. You know, you could go broke, I guess, but like, what if it actually works? Like, what if you accidentally are a success, right? Or people jumping into real estate, or the insurance industry, because it is hard, or you for fact, like jumping around these different jobs, trying to figure out what your niche was. You could have been like, oh, like I don't want to keep looking because it's just really annoying and heartbreaking that this wasn't it for me, or the next one might not be it either. I'm just gonna sit here because they're paying me an okay salary, right? So I just thought that was really like eye opening and just mind boggling, because there's just so many people that have these dreams or thoughts, and you know, in their mind, unachievable achievements, when in fact they are achievable. It just takes the person that says, I want to actually give it a shot and I'm going to give it all my all. Yeah. And you got to surround yourself with the best people to do it too. You know, that's another part that I thought about, because it's like, if you want to jump in to real estate, it would make sense to get around other people that are successful in real estate.
The most successful real estate people you know,
Right. So when people try to start stuff and then they do it like on their own, like in the corner, hiding from everybody else because they're afraid to fail, I'm like, dude, you're definitely going to fail because you're not getting help from anybody. Yeah. Like you don't do this currently. You make no money in this. Why would you think that you should figure this out on your own? Get around the people that can do it with you.
That's like that whole mentality that everybody says, like, oh, I made it here by myself. I didn't need nobody. That's a damn lie. Yeah. That's a damn lie, because nobody that is successful, self-made. Yeah, nobody that is successful has ever gone through life and not asked for help. Not in the sense of like necessarily financial, but help in the sense of, like you just said, getting surrounded by the people. Yeah. Hey, I need your help. How the hell do I list this on MLS? Yep. You're going to tell me you never said that, but you're the most popular. Come on. Yeah. That's not facts. Yeah. That's cap.
Okay. Absolutely. So I thought that was really cool. I was literally driving all the way home, like thinking about it. I couldn't get out of my head. I was just so impressed. I mean, obviously I've seen, you know, other military-based movies, but that one just really stuck out. I just thought it was so cool. I was like, dude, this is nuts. Like, if more people thought like this, we'd have way more successful people. I mean, there's already tons of people, but I'm just saying, like, if people could just watch that, understand that mentality, be like, what makes that guy different? It's not where he came from. It's just the way he thinks.
Yeah, it's like you can almost boil it down to two things. Like, I feel like, because I've been in my own position of trying to start my own companies, and obviously there's a level of fear that comes in it, but I think where that fear turns into a positivity is whenever you change the thought process from, I'm afraid that this doesn't work, to I'm afraid that if this works and I can't maintain it, or if I lose it, right?
For sure.
Because then you're not, whenever you're fearing something not working, you're inevitably telling yourself that this is not going to work. I'm going to put all my work into this. I'm going to put money into this. I'm going to put you know, my whole heart into this business, and it's not going to work. I'm just afraid of whenever it's not going to work. Versus me, if I go into a business, dude, I'm going all in. I'm giving it everything I freaking got. And my biggest fear is that I get to a point where it gets very successful and I can't maintain it, or I can't manage it because I didn't hire the right people or diversify or stuff like that. But then the flip side to it too is like the what ifs, right? What ifs are such a big deal. What if this doesn't work? What if I don't get chosen to go on this mission? What if I go on this mission and die? Yeah. Right. Sure. So altering those like what ifs to almost like a, what if I do get picked and I succeed? What if I get picked, I succeed, and then I am Top Gun? What if I school Maverick?
Like the first movie, they're all like fighting for a trophy. Yeah. Right. So it could be a what if, like, what if I do it and I pass, but I don't get the trophy?
And that's the thing.
What if you get the freaking trophy?
Yeah. It's a little change that can completely change your mindset, because you're not focused on a failure. You're focused on the potential of success and maybe failing after that, but at the same time, success.
Bro, you got to fail so much to do anything successfully.
Nobody that is ever...
I'm not even super successful at all by any means, and I think anyone I've ever met or watched, you know, a podcast, video, whatever, and they're successful, like, bro, you're going to fail a million times. You just have to keep freaking getting back up. I tell people that in my industry all the time, because, like, there's a lot of failure in real estate and insurance and a lot of stuff, but, I mean... When you're in business for yourself and you got to, you know, oh, do I have the right leads, or they blame the lead?
You have to accept the failure.
Dude, it's failure. Like, you're going to, and you're going to suck, dude. Of course you're going to suck. I mean, you should suck. You haven't done it yet. You know, it's like if like someone like that signs up to go into the Army and then they go to camp and they're like, I failed the first day. Like, good. Yeah. I mean,
tomorrow's coming.
You know? Yeah. Like, that's why you're in camp.
It's going to start again tomorrow.
You're here to learn. But anyways, I thought it was a cool topic. I wanted to, dive into it. And I think that's going to apply to a lot of stuff that we end up talking about here. But,
Yeah. I agree.
Last thing I want to ask you, based on the people that we want to have on this show, like certain guests and things, and we won't always have guests. Like we'll just wrap, together a few times as well, just because I think it's enjoyable just to have a conversation with each other. But like in terms of the types of guests, like what do you think is going to be our main focus in terms of like we want this type of guy or this type of girl like on here, so that I want them to be relatable, right? But like past being relatable, like what do you think that's going to look like for who shows up?
Man, I think it's going to be a really diversified group of people, right?
Yeah.
So we're not just going to bring on people that make a lot of money or people that have nice cars or fly jets or whatever the like mentality of like, oh, they're successful is. I think it's going to be a wide variety of people that will almost challenge new ways of thinking, mentality, the way you think and things like that, but just in a sense of like just business in general, life in general, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have plenty of people on here that may not even make $100,000 a year or something, so a quote unquote unsuccessful person, but at the same time the way that they think or the way that they view life is completely different, right?
Yeah, they're successful in their point of view.
Exactly.
For sure. And in a lot of people's point of view.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be cool because I'm excited about that. We want to try to keep these episodes like right around 30-ish minutes, so I think we're kind of there right now. But man, I hope that you guys enjoyed just a little bit of what we're doing right now. What are you about to do?
Listen, it comes in, it goes out.
Anyways, again, this is Sage Delsol, my best friend in the whole wide world, Matthew Edland. Appreciate you guys sticking around, tuning in with us. We're going to see you on the next episode.
We can't wait.
It's all facts, baby. Peace.